The evening air is soft, carrying the faint scent of damp earth. Outside, the wind moves gently through the trees, whispering in slow rhythms. A single bird calls, its note floating and fading into quiet. You notice the stillness, and for a moment, it feels almost like a sigh. Perhaps you are lying awake, your mind spinning like autumn leaves. Thoughts arrive unbidden, one after another, each heavier than the last. The weight of the day rests on your shoulders, pressing softly but persistently. And yet, here you are, giving yourself a little time to be still. Somewhere deep inside, you know this is familiar. The mind resists, worries gather, and sleep feels just beyond reach. It is natural, and it is gentle, to acknowledge this fatigue without judgment. Even the Buddha, in quiet reflection, taught that noticing the mind is a beginning. A calm river flows in your imagination, carrying the images of the day. You watch them drift past, neither clinging nor pushing them away. The Dhammapada reminds us that a mind steady in awareness finds freedom, not by force, but by gentle recognition. It grows unshakable, like deep water. In these moments, small sensations become anchors, your breath, the rise and fall. The Satipatthana Sutta speaks softly of presence, as if saying, return, again and again, to what is now, without striving or rushing. In float, you notice the rhythm of your chest, the warmth of your body against the sheets. There is no need to fix or change anything right now. Even the rustle of the trees, the hush of the evening, is enough to remind you. The mind, like Indra's net, reflects each passing thought without being trapped. And you, too, can rest here, just watching, just breathing, just being. Tonight, we will explore how such gentle noticing can build strength. Strength not of the body alone, but of the mind. Quiet and unshakable, we will move through soft stories, familiar teachings, and vivid images of calm, each one a small guide to help your thoughts settle like soft snow. If you'd like, feel free to share where you're listening from tonight. Imagine your location as part of the gentle world around you. We will take this time together, quietly, without hurry, without expectation, and perhaps, slowly, the mind will soften enough to rest, completely. Story 1. The quiet river within. The sun was just slipping behind the hills, casting soft shadows across the river. Water moved slowly, brushing pebbles with a gentle, constant touch. A man sat at the edge, feeling the cool air against his tired skin. The day had been long, the demands heavy, and his mind noisy. He thought of unfinished work, the messages left unread, the calls unanswered. His chest felt tight, as though he carried the weight of all expectations. The river, in contrast, moved effortlessly, neither clinging nor resisting. He watched a leaf drift downstream, turning over softly in the current. A memory came of a teaching from the Dhammapada he had once heard. Let the mind settle like still water. It had whispered quietly. He breathed in, slow and steady, noticing the rise and fall of his chest. Each exhale carried a fraction of tension, each inhale a touch of calm. The river seemed to reflect not just the sky, but his own thoughts. Some floated by without grasping, others lingered before dissolving in silence. He realized his mind could be like this, patient and undisturbed. No matter how turbulent the world, he could return to this inner river. A soft smile touched his lips, and he allowed the day to be over. There was nothing left to prove, no battles left to fight tonight. The river whispered a gentle lesson, as old as the mountains. Peace arises when we release, when we notice without clinging. He turned slightly, imagining you lying there, listening, letting go, even your heaviest thoughts, he murmured, can float past, like leaves, untried. And as darkness gathered, he felt a quiet strength settle within. A mind unshaken does not demand effort. It simply returns to stillness. Story 2. The Bamboo Grove. Early morning mist hovered over a grove of bamboo, soft and pale. Each stalk swayed gently, bending with the wind, yet standing strong. A woman walked slowly between them, her steps careful and deliberate. Her work had left her restless, her heart carrying tension like stones. She noticed a small bird balancing on a bending stalk. It did not fight the wind, nor did it resist the sway. The sight reminded her of a teaching from the Satipatthana Sutta. Presence, she recalled, was the foundation of steadiness and care. She paused, listening to the whisper of leaves brushing against one another, her thoughts of unfinished projects, late meetings, and small regrets softened. She realized control had been a burden, not a solution. All along, bending with life did not mean weakness. It meant wise endurance. With each inhalation, she imagined drawing in the calm of the grove. With each exhalation, she released the tight knots in her chest. The bamboo taught her quietly, flexibility and groundedness can coexist. Strength grows not through force, but through gentle awareness and balance. She smiled inwardly, and a warmth spread across her shoulders. In the stillness, she felt a quiet invitation, simple and kind. Return here in your mind when worries arise. It is safe. And she walked on, lighter, her steps soft as falling leaves. Story 3. The Candle's Light. A single candle flickered in a quiet room, casting shadows that danced. A man sat nearby, exhausted, feeling the pull of sleepless hours. His thoughts spun stories of mistakes, unmet goals, and imagined failures. Yet the flame burned steadily, despite its tiny, fragile form. He remembered the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, speaking of mindfulness as the first step. Attention, he realized, was not about control, but gentle noticing. He focused on the warmth of the candle, the subtle hum of silence. Each flicker became a rhythm for his tired mind to follow. Slowly, tension left his shoulders, as if the candle absorbed it quietly. He imagined each worry dissolving into the air, harmless and weightless. The mind, he thought, could be trained like the flame, centered, attentive, and calm, even amid the drafts of daily life. He whispered softly, as if sharing with you now, you can be steady, like this flame, even in restless hours. No need to force sleep, no need to chase peace. Simply breathe, notice, and allow the quiet to gather around you. Story 4. The Path of Fallen Leaves. Autumn leaves lay scattered along a narrow garden path, bright and crisp. A woman walked slowly, feeling each step connect with the earth below. Her mind had been restless all week, burdened with tasks and worry. The crunch of leaves beneath her feet brought a small, grounding joy. She thought of the Kalama Sutta and the gentle guidance it offered. Not every thought needs to be followed. Not every worry taken to heart. Some can be let go. Just as leaves fall without clinging, her breath matched the rhythm of her steps. Steady and unhurried, a soft breeze carried the scent of pine and soil, inviting calm. Her heart softened, the pressure of perfection slipping away quietly. She smiled, thinking, even in falling, there is grace and ease. If the rendmai, the path, she realized, teaches surrender and gentle awareness together. She paused, offering a quiet invitation to you, the listener. Walk slowly in your mind. Let thoughts drift like leaves today. Is perfect, and with that, her shoulders relaxed, and the world felt a touch lighter. Story 5. The Mountain Stream. High in the mountains, a small stream gurgled over smooth stones. Its clear water sparkled in the afternoon sun, singing softly to itself. A tired man knelt at its edge, letting his hands cup the cool flow. Life's pressures had followed him here, heavy as the rocks beneath. He remembered a line from the Megha Sutta about letting go of attachment. The stream did not grasp. It did not hold. Yet it endured. He felt his thoughts loosen, flowing past instead of pressing inward. Even the hardest regrets seemed to soften in the mountain's quiet embrace. He inhaled deeply, tasting the clean air, noticing how tension melted. The water whispered a simple truth. Ease comes through gentle presence. He imagined you listening nearby and spoke quietly to your heart. Like this stream, you can move through the day without holding tight. Epen, a calm strength settled inside him, steady and unshakable. There was nothing to fix, nothing to carry, only this moment. And as the sun dipped behind distant peaks, he let himself rest. The mountain, the stream, and his own heart taught him peace once more. Story 6. The Lantern in the Fog. A soft fog rolled through the quiet village streets, thick and slow. A woman carried a small lantern, its warm glow cutting through the mist. Her mind had been restless all day, chasing deadlines and unseen worries. The lantern light flickered, gentle and steady, guiding her step by step. She remembered a teaching from the Majjhima Nikaya about mindful attention. Even a small light can illuminate the path when darkness surrounds. Her breath matched the rhythm of her walking, soft and even. Each step became a meditation, each exhale releasing unneeded tension. The fog hid the world beyond, leaving only this moment and her lantern. She realized that clarity begins not by clearing everything, but by noticing. The mind, like the lantern, can shine in the midst of uncertainty. She allowed herself to rest in this simplicity, letting worries fade slowly. Her thoughts drifted like the mist, soft, without urgency or command. She whispered to herself and to you, the listener tonight, you can be the gentle light in your own fog, always present. Bester, and with that, her shoulders loosened, and a quiet calm settled. Story 7. The Old Oak. An ancient oak stood at the edge of a meadow, its branches wide and patient. A man leaned against its trunk, feeling the rough bark beneath his hand. The day had been exhausting, filled with unending tasks and small regrets. He closed his eyes, listening to the leaves whisper in the wind. The Sigalavada Sutta had reminded him once, long ago, of steady virtue. A strong mind is like this tree, rooted, flexible, and enduring. He thought of how the oak had weathered countless storms and seasons. Perhaps he, too, could bend without breaking, hold without rigidity, breath by breath. Tension in his chest softened, flowing out through his fingertips. Each exhale released obligations that were not urgent, worries that were not real. The branches above swayed gently, a silent lesson in patience and resilience. Even in the heart of daily pressure, one can find quiet strength. He imagined you listening, tired and worn, and offered a quiet thought. Like this oak, your mind can stand, even while the world shifts. Du Frey, the meadow stretched around him, peaceful and forgiving, and he rested. In the gentle hush of the evening, the oak and his heart became one. Story 8. The Snow-Covered Path. Winter had painted the forest in soft white, a blanket over every branch. A woman walked slowly, each footstep pressing lightly into untouched snow. Her mind had raced through emails, errands, and endless responsibilities all day. Yet here, the snow muffled the world, offering silence as a companion. She thought of the Vitakasantana Sutta, teaching gentle awareness of thoughts. Each worry could be observed, acknowledged, and let go like footprints in snow. The cold air touched her cheeks, crisp and clean, grounding her in the present. There was no need to rush, no need to fix or chase anything now. A small bird hopped across the snow, pausing before disappearing again. She smiled softly, noticing the delicate balance of life around her. The path was narrow, yet inviting, teaching patience and gentle attention. And she breathed in, allowing her heart to soften, releasing lingering tension. She spoke quietly, as if you were near. Even the heaviest thoughts can fade, like footprints melting in snow. Yes, and with each step, the weight of the day seemed to lift slightly. Her mind, like the winter forest, became still, open, and calm. Story 9. The Tea Bowl. Steam rose from a small tea bowl, curling gently in the quiet kitchen. A man sat across the table, tired, his hands wrapped around warmth and aroma. He thought of unfinished tasks, family concerns, and endless work pressures. Yet the tea's fragrance invited him to pause, to simply be present. He remembered the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, teaching presence in simple acts. Even drinking tea can become meditation, if noticed fully, without hurry. He felt the warmth seep into his palms, noticed the subtle taste on his tongue. The rhythm of his breath matched the slow swirl of steam above the cup. Each sip became a small act of letting go, a gentle surrender. His mind softened, like water melting ice, thoughts losing their sharp edges. The simple act of noticing became a quiet refuge from daily demands. He realized that strength arises not from control, but from mindful presence. Softly, he shared a thought with you, the listener. Tonight, even small rituals can steady the mind and nurture the heart. I know, and as the tea cooled, he let himself rest, complete in this simple moment. Story 10. The Lantern Festival. Lanterns floated along the river, glowing like tiny moons in the dark. A woman watched from the shore, her body tired, her mind racing with worry, work, family, obligations. Everything seemed to press inward, heavy and endless. Yet the lanterns drifted quietly, unhurried, a gentle reminder of ease. She recalled the Karaniya Metta Sutta, teaching loving kindness toward oneself. Even amidst life's weight, one can nurture warmth, patience, and softness. She breathed in the glow, imagining each lantern carrying away a small burden. Her thoughts began to lighten, reflecting the slow, gentle flow of the river. The night air held a stillness that felt like a soft embrace. She whispered a quiet wish to herself and to you listening now. Let your mind drift as freely as these lanterns tonight is. And in that gentle moment, a sense of peace settled over her heart. The river carried light and quiet, and she allowed herself to rest. Strength, she realized, comes not from holding on, but from releasing. And as the lanterns disappeared into the horizon, she felt safe and complete. Story 11. The Morning Dew. Early morning. The garden shimmered with tiny drops of dew. A man crouched near a patch of wildflowers. Noticing each bead of water, his body ached from long hours, and his mind replayed endless worries. Yet the dew sparkled quietly, untouched by his concerns. Serene and patient, he remembered a line from the Kupākamavibhanga Sutta, teaching that actions leave subtle echoes. Even small efforts, gentle attentions, create lasting ripples in life. He inhaled deeply, letting the fresh air fill his lungs and ease his heart. Each exhale seemed to release the weight of yesterday's unfinished tasks. The petals bent under the droplets, yet they did not break. He realized his mind could mirror this quiet resilience and flexibility. No need to push or force. Simply notice, gently, and allow things to settle. The garden, the dew, and his slow breath formed a soft rhythm of calm. He imagined you nearby, lying still, listening, perhaps carrying your own tired burdens. Notice the small things tonight, he whispered. They hold more peace than you imagine. And as the sun rose, his heart felt lighter, anchored in simple presence. Even in the smallest moments, the mind can rest, steady and unshakable. Story 12. The Evening Crickets. Twilight spread across the fields, turning the sky soft shades of indigo. Crickets began their gentle chorus, rhythmic and unhurried in the cooling air. A woman sat on her porch, shoulders tight, mind buzzing with today's demands. Yet the sound of crickets invited her attention, each chirp a quiet anchor. She recalled the Mahākamavibhanga Sutta, reflecting on how cause and effect shape life. Her worries seemed less urgent when held lightly, noticed without attachment. The evening breeze touched her face, carrying scents of earth and distant flowers. Her chest softened with each breath, tension melting into the night. Crickets sang without expectation, without hurry, just existing fully in the present. She imagined her thoughts doing the same, passing without grasping, fading naturally. The rhythm of the evening reminded her, strength comes from gentle awareness. Her mind, like the night, could be calm, patient, and accepting. She leaned back, quietly sharing this thought with you tonight. Allow your mind to breathe with the world around you. I do mint, and as the stars blinked awake, she felt a steady, soothing peace settle. The evening carried her gently toward rest, safe and untroubled. Story 13. The Small Stone. Beside a quiet pond, a man picked up a small, smooth stone. It fit perfectly in his palm, cool and solid, grounded and simple. He had carried mental burdens all day, pressing and heavy on his mind. The stone, however, was untroubled, existing as it was, complete and calm. He thought of the Upali Sutta, where mindful attention reveals life's clarity, even the tiniest objects, noticed fully, can teach patience and quiet focus. He traced the curves of the stone, letting his breath synchronize with his touch. Each inhalation brought awareness. Each exhalation released subtle tension inside him. The pond mirrored the sky above, still and undisturbed, absorbing reflections silently. He realized he could hold his thoughts lightly, like the stone in his hand. No pushing, no forcing, simply noticing, letting the mind settle naturally. Even small actions could cultivate steady presence, like ripples fading in water. Softly, he offered this to you, listening, perhaps burdened by today's noise. Hold your thoughts gently, and they will rest, like a stone in still water. Ended, and as the sun lowered toward the horizon, he allowed himself to soften completely. The pond, the stone, and his own quiet mind became a sanctuary of calm. Story 14. The Forgotten Garden. A garden lay behind an old house, overgrown but tenderly alive. A woman wandered through, noticing wildflowers climbing through fences and stones. She had carried worry about work and family, fatigue pressing on her spirit. Yet here, in nature's quiet persistence, she felt a subtle, soothing relief. She recalled the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which taught awareness leads to freedom. Even amid neglect, growth continues quietly, steadily, without demand or haste. Her breath slowed, and she felt her mind follow the rhythm of this garden. Tension melted as she imagined her worries sinking into the fertile earth. A butterfly flitted across a patch of lavender, gentle and unhurried. She smiled softly, noticing how life continues. Soft, patient, and resilient. Her heart, too, could be like this garden, flexible, enduring, quietly alive. No need to force perfection, no need to control. Simply presence and care. She leaned back, offering a gentle thought to you. Listening now, your mind can flourish, even in quiet, forgotten corners of your day. Ayos, I could know, and as evening light softened, she allowed herself to rest fully, completely. The garden and her mind shared the same gentle, enduring peace. Story 15. The Evening Bell. A bell tolled across the monastery courtyard, soft and resonant in the evening air. A man sat beneath a pine tree, his body weary, his thoughts scattered. The bell's tone lingered, vibrating through the cool silence, steady and deep. His mind, so often busy with endless plans, paused naturally in response. He recalled the Abhaya Sutta, teaching courage arises when fear is faced gently. Fear of failure, regret, and inadequacy, each softened in the bell's presence. He focused on the sound, letting it anchor him in the present moment. Each toll invited release. Each pause became a breath of quiet calm. The shadows lengthened, the air cooled, and the world slowed without effort. He realized that steadiness comes from noticing, not from pushing or resisting. The mind, like the bell's tone, can resonate clearly, even in a noisy world. A quiet strength settled within him, patient, gentle, and unshakable, he whispered softly, as if to you listening tonight. Let the sound remind you, your mind can rest and remain steady. Now, and as darkness embraced the courtyard, he let himself drift into gentle peace. The bell faded, the pine swayed, and his heart rested, calm and complete. Story 16. The window pane. Rain traced soft patterns across a cold window pane. Slow and meandering, a woman pressed her hand lightly against the glass, feeling its coolness. Her thoughts had been restless all evening, circling unfinished tasks and worries. Yet the rhythm of the rain invited calm, steady and predictable, like a lullaby. She remembered the Vitakka Sutta, about gently guiding the mind away from distraction. Each droplet falling became a small invitation to return to presence. She noticed the soft patter on the roof, the gentle drumming on leaves. Her chest loosened, her shoulders softened, and a quiet warmth grew within. Outside, the garden shimmered, every leaf adorned with a tiny jewel of water. The world felt tender, patient, and forgiving, without need for effort or control. She let her thoughts float past like clouds in a muted sky. Even the heaviest worries began to dissolve into the rhythm of the rain. She imagined you, listening quietly tonight, perhaps carrying your own mental weight. Notice the small, gentle movements around you, she whispered, and let them soothe. Invite in the rain, her breath, and the simple act of noticing created a quiet sanctuary. Her mind rested, steady and unshakable, like a pond beneath falling water. Story 17. The lantern on the shore. A single lantern floated along the calm river, swaying softly with each ripple. A man crouched near the bank, weary from a long day of endless obligations. His mind had been full of deadlines, responsibilities, and the weight of perfection. Yet the lantern moved effortlessly, illuminating the night with gentle, steady light. He thought of the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching presence and mindful observation. Even a small light, fully noticed, can guide through shadowed thoughts. He inhaled, feeling the cool night air fill his lungs, and exhaled slowly. Each breath was a reminder that the mind could find steadiness without force. The lantern drifted past, reflecting in the river like a soft jewel. He realized that thoughts, like lanterns, could be observed without clinging. There was no need to control them, only to notice, gently and with care. A calm strength settled over him, steady, warm, and quietly reassuring. He spoke softly, as if you were beside him on the shore. Your mind can float freely, even when life feels heavy and unending. Now, and as the lantern disappeared into the distance, he allowed himself to rest. The river, the light, and his own breath became a simple refuge of calm. Story 18. The Whispering Pines. A grove of pine trees swayed gently in a late evening breeze. A woman walked slowly between them, each footstep deliberate and grounding. Her heart had been tense, weighed down by worry and unresolved duties. Yet the trees whispered softly, their needles brushing against each other like quiet conversation. She recalled the Abhaya Sutta, teaching courage arises from gentle awareness. Even amidst uncertainty, the mind can stand quietly, observing without fear. She inhaled the crisp, earthy scent of pine, letting tension drift with each exhale. The soft rustling above reminded her that life flows steadily, beyond control. She noticed her own thoughts swaying like branches, flexible and alive. The pressure to perform, to fix, to perfect, slowly loosened its grip. Even the smallest attention to the present moment became an act of relief. Her mind, like the grove, grew patient, resilient, and quietly strong. She whispered to you, the listener, tired and restless tonight. Allow yourself to sway gently with life and find calm in presence. In Rita, and as the sun set behind the trees, her body softened into rest. The grove and her mind became one, steady, serene, and untroubled. Story 19. The Lantern Festival. Lanterns floated along a slow river, their lights reflected in the gentle current. A man stood on the shore, body tired, mind buzzing with unfinished work. Yet the sight of lanterns drifting effortlessly brought a subtle, calming ease. Each light seemed to carry away small fragments of worry and fatigue. He remembered the Karaniya Metta Sutta, teaching warmth and kindness toward oneself. Even when life feels heavy, gentle attention and care can restore balance. He breathed slowly, letting each exhale release tension from his chest and shoulders. The river, the lanterns, and the night created a soft rhythm to rest in. He imagined you, listening quietly tonight, carrying your own burdens and thoughts. Let your mind drift like lanterns on the water, light and untroubled, he said. And as the last lantern disappeared into darkness, he allowed himself to soften. Peace arose naturally, steady and simple, like the river carrying its quiet lights. Story 20. The Tea Garden. Morning sunlight filtered through bamboo leaves into a small tea garden. A woman knelt beside a steaming cup of tea, inhaling its gentle aroma. Her thoughts had been restless, replaying tasks and worries from yesterday. Yet the warmth and simplicity of the tea invited presence and quiet. She recalled the Maha Satipatthana Sutta about noticing even the smallest acts. Drinking tea became meditation, each sip an invitation to slow down. The breeze brushed her face, carrying the fragrance of the garden into her lungs. Her mind softened, tension melting with each gentle inhalation and exhalation. She imagined you, listening, tired and ready for rest tonight. Even small, mindful moments can anchor your mind and heart, she whispered. And as the tea cooled, she let herself relax completely. Without effort, the garden, the tea, and her own steady breath became a sanctuary of calm. Story 21. The Morning Mist. A soft mist hovered over the quiet fields. Pale and still, a man walked slowly, his feet sinking slightly into the damp grass. His mind had been restless all night, tangled with thoughts and worries. Yet the mist wrapped around him like a gentle, forgiving embrace. He remembered the Dhammapada, where even the smallest mindfulness brings peace. Each step became a quiet meditation, each breath a gentle reminder to return. The world blurred softly in the haze, offering calm rather than distraction. He allowed himself to notice the chill, the scent of earth, the weight of silence. The dew on the grass sparkled faintly as the sun began to rise. He realized that clarity need not come at once. It could unfold slowly. Even the heaviest concerns could soften, dissolve, or drift away naturally. A quiet strength began to fill him, patient, steady, and unshakable, he whispered, imagining you listening tonight. Let the morning mist carry your worries gently, and rest in presence. And as the mist lifted, he felt the soft warmth of the sun, encouraging him to breathe, soften, and allow his mind to rest. Story 22. The flowing stream. A narrow stream moved over smooth stones. Its water clear and cold. A woman knelt beside it, letting her fingers touch the rippling surface. Her thoughts had spun all day, restless and insistent, refusing pause. Yet the stream flowed steadily, unhindered by obstacles, patient and calm. She recalled the Magaya Sutta, teaching release through gentle awareness. Each ripple seemed to invite her mind to let go. Just a little at a time, she breathed slowly, synchronizing her pulse with the rhythm of moving water. Tension eased from her shoulders. Her chest softened. Her heart quieted. The water reflected the sky above, calm despite the rocks beneath. She realized that her mind could mirror this flow, flexible, steady, and free. No need to push thoughts away. Only notice them and let them pass. Even burdens carried for hours could drift gently downstream without harm. She offered a quiet thought to you, listening, perhaps carrying your own unrest. Like the stream, let your mind flow naturally, gentle and untroubled. If you bin, and as the sun shimmered on the water, she allowed herself to rest. The stream and her breath became one, soft, calm, and serene. Story 23. The lantern's glow. A small lantern hung from a tree branch, swaying softly in the evening breeze. A man sat beneath it, exhausted from endless tasks and long days. The gentle light illuminated the ground, casting soft shadows on the grass. His mind had been heavy, burdened with work, regret, and worry. He remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, about returning gently to the present. Each flicker of the lantern reminded him to notice without judgment. He inhaled slowly, letting the light fill the edges of his awareness. Exhaling, he felt tension release. Carried away with each soft breath, the lantern glowed steadily, neither trying nor forcing, simply being present. He realized that his mind, too, could rest in quiet, simple awareness. Strength, he remembered, comes from patience and gentle presence, not pushing. The shadows and the light formed a rhythm of calm he could follow. He whispered softly, imagining you listening tonight. Let your mind glow gently, like a lantern, steady and warm. In rins, and as the evening deepened, he allowed himself to soften completely. The lantern, the tree, and his quiet breath became a sanctuary of peace. Story 24. The fallen leaf. A single leaf drifted slowly to the ground, carried by a gentle breeze. A woman watched it, noticing how it twisted, floated, and finally landed. Her mind had been tangled with thoughts of work, family, and regret. Yet the leaf moved effortlessly, surrendering to the wind without resistance. She remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires pursuit. Not every worry requires attachment. She breathed in, noticing the cool air and the rustling of nearby trees. With each exhale, she released tension, letting the day's weight slip away. The leaf lay still on the earth, neither burdened nor striving. She realized her mind could find rest. Simply by noticing and releasing, even persistent worries could settle. like autumn leaves on quiet ground. Softly, she allowed herself to be present, fully and without effort. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind float like a leaf and rest in its stillness. 2. And as the breeze faded, she felt the gentle calm of surrender. Her heart, the leaf, and the world shared the same quiet peace. Story 25. The Evening Bell. The bell tolled across the monastery courtyard, deep and resonant in the night. A man sat beneath a large oak, exhausted from endless work and worry. The sound lingered in the air, vibrating softly, steady and patient. His thoughts, once chaotic, began to slow with each reverberation. He remembered the Abhaya Sutta, where courage grows through gentle awareness. Even fears and doubts can soften when noticed without grasping or resistance. He breathed in the deep night air, letting the bell guide his mind. Exhaling, he released tension from shoulders, chest, and mind alike. The courtyard was still, the oak swaying lightly, the night embracing calm. He realized that steadiness does not come from forcing control or perfection. The mind, like the bell's tone, can resonate clearly, steady and unshakable. And in the quiet, a gentle strength settled in his heart and body. He whispered softly, imagining you listening tonight. Let the bell remind you, your mind can rest, steady and free. Him might, and as the final toll faded, he allowed himself to drift into rest. The oak, the bell, and his breath became one, serene and complete. Story 26. The Lantern Path. A narrow path wound through the quiet village, lit by small lanterns. A woman walked slowly, her feet brushing fallen petals along the way. Her mind had been busy, replaying conversations and unfinished work tasks. Yet the soft light invited her to slow, notice, and simply breathe. She recalled the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, about presence in each simple step. Even ordinary walking can be a meditation, if observed gently and fully. She felt the cool evening air, the subtle scent of jasmine and stone. Her shoulders softened, her chest eased, and the mind became patient and calm. Lanterns swayed gently, their light steady despite the shifting breeze. She realized she could be like the lanterns, present, warm, and untroubled. No need to chase clarity or force peace, only to notice and breathe. A quiet strength settled within her, steady, soft, and unshakable. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk your mind along a lantern-lit path, soft, patient, and free. I too. And as she continued, the lanterns seemed to guide her heart and breath. The path, the light, and her awareness became one serene presence. Story 27. The Mountain Mist. Mist curled around the peaks of a quiet mountain, pale and slow. A man paused, letting the cool, damp air touch his tired skin. His thoughts had been heavy, cycling through responsibilities and past regrets. Yet the mist softened the world, creating a gentle, forgiving cloak of calm. He remembered the Dhammapada, teaching that mindfulness steadies the wandering mind. Even in fog, the mountain remains, solid beneath uncertainty and shadow. He inhaled deeply, letting the coolness fill his chest, exhaling tension into the air. Each breath became an anchor, each moment a quiet refuge for his heart. The mist shifted, revealing distant trees, then hiding them once more. He realized clarity and calm can emerge gradually, without forcing or rushing. Even persistent worries can settle when met with gentle awareness and patience. A subtle warmth of peace spread through him, quiet, steady, and enduring. He whispered softly, "Imagining you listening tonight, let the mist carry your thoughts lightly and rest in its embrace." 1 p.m., and as the sun touched the mountaintops, he felt his mind soften completely. The mountain, the mist, and his breath became a sanctuary of stillness. Story 28. The garden stream. A small stream wound through a quiet garden, clear and sparkling in sunlight. A woman knelt beside it, letting her hands trace its smooth, cool surface. Her mind had raced all morning, full of worries, deadlines, and regrets. Yet the stream flowed steadily, teaching patience and gentle acceptance without effort. She recalled the Megillah Sutta, which spoke of letting go with awareness. The water moved around stones, never forcing, never clinging, simply present. She breathed slowly, matching her exhalations to the gentle rhythm of flowing water. Tension in her shoulders and chest softened, carried away like tiny ripples. The reflection of sky and leaves danced lightly on the surface. She realized her thoughts, too, could be observed, then released without grasping. Strength arises not from pushing or forcing, but from quiet presence and noticing. The garden, the stream, and her own breath merged into a soft, steady calm. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind flow like water, noticing and releasing without effort. And as the stream moved onward, she allowed herself to rest fully. Peace settled, gentle, patient, and quietly unshakable within her heart. Story 29. The candlelit room. A single candle flickered in a quiet, empty room, soft and warm. A man sat nearby, exhausted from endless meetings and tasks that never ended. His thoughts had been relentless, chasing perfection and replaying yesterday's mistakes. Yet the candlelight invited him to pause, to notice, to simply exist. He remembered the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which taught awareness as a path to calm. Even a small flame can steady the mind when fully observed. Without expectation, he inhaled slowly, feeling warmth and quiet settle over his shoulders and chest. Exhaling, he released worry, imagining it dissolving into the gentle glow. The flame danced slightly, yet remained steady, soft, and undemanding. He realized that even restless thoughts could be met with patient attention. No need to fix or chase. Peace arises in presence. Softly, gently, a quiet strength settled in him. Warm, calm, and reassuringly steady. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind burn like a candle, soft, present, and peaceful. And as the evening deepened, he allowed himself to drift into rest. The candle, the room, and his breath became a sanctuary of calm. Story 30. The evening orchard. The sun lowered behind rows of apple trees, turning leaves gold and amber. A woman wandered slowly among the trunks, her feet brushing fallen fruit. Her mind had been full of work pressures and small, lingering regrets. Yet the orchard's quiet rhythm invited her to slow, to notice, to breathe. She remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires action. Not every worry demands attention tonight. She breathed in the crisp scent of earth and fruit, exhaling tension softly. Each step became meditation. Each moment a quiet lesson in patience. Birds chirped lightly from branches. A soft, unhurried song of presence. She realized her mind could, like the orchard, grow and rest without strain. Even tasks left undone could be accepted, gently, with kindness toward herself. A calm, steady warmth settled in her heart. Soft, simple, and unshakable. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an orchard, noticing, softening, and resting. And as the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, she allowed herself full calm. The orchard, the evening, and her own breath became one serene presence. Story 31. The Snowy Path. Snow covered the forest path in a soft, quiet blanket of white. A man walked slowly, each step pressing gently into the fresh powder. His mind had been restless, replaying tasks, deadlines, and small mistakes. Yet the snow muffled the world, offering a pause, gentle and calm. He remembered the Vitakasantana Sutta, about noticing thoughts and letting them pass. Each footprint became a meditation, each breath a reminder to return to presence. The cold air touched his cheeks, and his chest softened with each exhale. Even the heaviest worries seemed lighter, as if snow had carried them away. The forest was still, save for the faint crunch of his own steps. He realized that his mind, too, could be still, patient, and aware. No need to force clarity. No need to chase peace or control. The path, the snow, and his breath created a gentle rhythm of calm. He whispered softly to you, listening tonight, let your thoughts fall gently, like snow on quiet ground. Is the 10, and as he continued, his heart felt lighter, his mind at rest. The forest and the snow, and his own awareness, became one serene space. Story 32. The Evening Pond. A small pond reflected the sky, smooth and undisturbed in the evening light. A woman sat beside it, exhausted from work and endless obligations. Her mind had been circling regrets and worries, refusing pause or rest. Yet the pond mirrored calm, teaching stillness without effort or demand. She remembered the Meghiya Sutta, reminding that gentle awareness releases burden. Each ripple, each reflection, offered a rhythm for her mind to follow. She breathed slowly, letting tension dissolve into the evening air. Soft and light, her thoughts, like tiny leaves, floated on the surface, drifting quietly downstream. Dragonflies skimmed the water, delicate and unhurried, attentive only to the present. She realized her mind could move like this, patient and gracefully flexible. Even persistent worries could settle with gentle noticing, without force or struggle. Her heart softened, her chest lightened, and a quiet steadiness grew within. She whispered to you, imagining your tired mind tonight. Allow your thoughts to float freely, like leaves upon a calm pond. It's Reli, and as dusk settled over the water, she allowed herself full rest. The pond, the dragonflies, and her breath became a sanctuary of peace. Story 33. The Lantern by the River. A single lantern floated on the river, swaying slowly with the current. A man leaned on the bank, shoulders heavy, mind cluttered with unfinished tasks. The lantern's gentle glow reflected on the water, steady and soft. His heart had been restless, yet the sight invited calm and attention. He remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, which taught mindful presence even in small acts. Watching the lantern drift, he felt his thoughts slow, observing without grasping. Each inhalation brought warmth and steadiness. Each exhalation released worry. The river carried the lantern, just as he could carry his own awareness. Soft ripples shimmered under the light, neither forced nor hurried, simply present. He realized that attention, gentle and patient, is the anchor for the mind. No need to chase peace. It grows naturally when we notice without clinging. A quiet confidence settled within him, steady, warm, and unshakable. He whispered a thought for you tonight. Your mind can drift gently, like a lantern on calm water. Right, and as the river carried the light onward, he allowed himself to rest. The lantern, the river, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 34. The Bamboo Shadows. Late afternoon sunlight filtered through a grove of tall bamboo, creating long, soft shadows. A woman walked slowly among them, her feet brushing fallen leaves with each step. Her mind had been spinning with worries and work pressures, restless and tight. Yet the shadows swayed gently, teaching flexibility and calm with every movement. She recalled the Abhaya Sutta, about meeting fear and unrest with gentle awareness. Even small, simple observations can steady a racing mind and soothe the heart. She breathed slowly, letting the warmth of sunlight and the cool of shadow settle together. Tension left her shoulders, her chest expanded, and her mind grew soft and still. The bamboo moved without effort, bending with the wind, steady and patient. She realized her own mind could bend without breaking, noticing without clinging. Strength arises from gentle presence, not pushing, controlling, or resisting. Her heart became quiet, her awareness steady, flowing like the grove's soft rhythm. She whispered to you, imagining your weary mind tonight. Notice the sway of life and let your mind bend gently with it. Yes, and as the light faded, she allowed herself full rest and ease. The bamboo, the shadows, and her breath became a sanctuary of calm. Story 35. The Orchard Breeze. A gentle breeze stirred through an orchard, carrying the scent of ripening fruit. A man walked slowly between the rows of trees, shoulders easing with each step. His mind had been full of obligations, self-criticism, and endless mental lists. Yet the orchard welcomed him, patient, soft, and unhurried. As he noticed its rhythm, he remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought must be followed. Not every worry must be carried tonight. He inhaled the warm, earthy scent of soil and apples, exhaling tension softly. Each step became meditation, each breath a quiet reminder of the present moment. Birds flitted lightly between branches, moving without hurry, attending only to now. He realized his mind could, too, rest in patient observation, letting go of strain. Even long-held concerns could soften, dissolve, or drift into gentle awareness. A subtle calm, steady and soft, settled into his chest and heart. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an orchard, noticing, softening, and resting. Is mine aspectos, and as the sun lowered, he allowed himself complete ease and peace. The orchard, the breeze, and his own breath became one serene presence. Story 36. The morning light. Soft light spilled through the window, gentle and pale, touching the floor. A woman sat on a cushion, tired from endless work and worry. Her mind had been busy, replaying conversations, deadlines, and small mistakes. Yet the morning light invited calm, steady and unhurried, filling the room. She remembered the Majjhima Nikaya, teaching that awareness is the path to peace. Even small attention to the present moment softens the mind and heart. She inhaled slowly, letting warmth fill her chest, and exhaled with release. Each breath became a meditation, each moment a gentle sanctuary of calm. Shadows shifted slowly across the floor, silent, patient, and untroubled. She realized that clarity can arrive quietly, without force or striving. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle noticing. Her heart began to rest, anchored in the simplicity of morning light. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let the morning light touch your mind softly and rest in presence. And as sunlight spread across the room, she allowed herself full ease. The light, her breath, and her awareness became one steady, serene space. Story 37. The river bend. A slow river curved around a bend, smooth and calm. In the late afternoon, a man sat on the bank, shoulders heavy from long days and long thoughts. The water moved steadily, carrying leaves, small twigs, and sunlight reflections along. His mind, like the river, could learn to flow gently without resistance. He remembered the Sayutta Nikaya, teaching that calm arises through mindful observation. He watched the water, noticing each ripple, each glint of light on the surface. Inhaling, he let tension flow out. Exhaling, he allowed his heart to soften. Even worries that felt heavy seemed to float away. Carried by the river, the current moved without effort. Persistent, yet patient. Steady and natural. He realized he could meet his thoughts this way, gently, without force or control. Strength comes not from grasping, but from noticing and allowing the mind to rest. The river, the bank, and his own breath became one serene presence. He whispered softly to you tonight, let your mind flow like the river, patient, gentle, and free. In Reframan, and as the sun dipped low, he allowed himself to drift into calm. The river, the evening, and his awareness formed a quiet sanctuary of peace. Story 38. The Lantern Garden. Lanterns hung among flowering trees, their warm glow steady in the night. A woman walked slowly beneath them, her steps soft on the garden path. Her mind had been racing, filled with obligations, mistakes, and what-ifs. Yet the lanterns invited her to slow, notice, and simply be present. She recalled the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, teaching mindfulness in each simple act. Each lantern seemed to illuminate a small corner of her awareness. Gently, without demand, she inhaled deeply, letting warmth settle into her chest. Exhaling tension softly, her thoughts softened, drifting like the lantern light across the path. The garden was quiet, alive with soft light and gentle shadows. She realized that even the restless mind could be soothed by simple noticing. No need to push or chase. Peace arises when presence is patient and steady. Her heart grew calm, steady, and softly anchored in the moment. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk your mind under the lantern light, noticing, softening, and resting. It's night, and as she moved through the garden, she allowed herself full ease. The lanterns, the garden, and her breath became a sanctuary of calm. Story 39. The autumn leaves. Leaves drifted slowly from trees, spinning and twirling in the crisp autumn air. A man walked along a quiet path, crunching leaves beneath his tired feet. His mind had been full of work, regrets, and endless mental chatter. Yet, the leaves' gentle fall invited him to notice, pause, and breathe. He remembered the Dhammapada, which teaches that each moment carries opportunity for calm. Even observing the simple motion of leaves can steady a restless mind. He inhaled the earthy scent of autumn, exhaling tension softly into the crisp air. Each step became a meditation, each breath a gentle rhythm of release. Leaves scattered across the path, flexible, unhurried, following their own natural course. He realized his thoughts could be like these leaves, free to move, untroubled by grasping. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle noticing and patience. A quiet warmth spread through his chest, steady, gentle, and unshakable. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind fall like autumn leaves, soft, patient, and free. Is of Ma. And as the sun lowered, he allowed himself full rest and ease. The path, the leaves, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 40. The evening rain. Soft rain tapped on the roof, rhythmic and slow. A gentle lullaby. A woman sat by the window, exhausted, her mind tangled with worry and fatigue. The world seemed heavy, full of undone tasks and unspoken regrets. Yet the rain invited her to soften, breathe, and simply notice. She recalled the Majjhima Nikaya, teaching that awareness can quiet the restless mind. Each drop, each tiny patter, became an anchor, drawing attention to the present. She inhaled slowly, letting the fresh scent of rain fill her chest. Exhaling, she released tension, letting the day's weight drift away like water. The garden outside shimmered under the rain, calm, patient, and forgiving. She realized her mind could rest here too, noticing without forcing or striving. Even heavy thoughts could dissolve into gentle awareness. Soft and unhurried, a quiet calm settled in her heart. Steady, warm, and peaceful. She whispered softly to you tonight. Let the rain carry your worries gently and rest in its quiet rhythm. Ow. And as the rain continued to fall, she allowed herself complete ease. The window, the rain, and her breath became a sanctuary of calm. Story 41. The misty lake. A thin mist hovered over the lake, softening the edges of trees and reeds. A man sat at the water's edge, shoulders heavy, mind restless with thoughts. The day had been long, filled with demands and endless mental noise. Yet the mist offered quiet, a gentle veil of calm and ease. He recalled the Sutta Nikaya, teaching that mindful observation steadies the mind. He watched the mist curl across the water, letting his thoughts soften and drift. Inhaling slowly, he felt tension melt from chest and shoulders alike. Exhaling, he allowed worries to settle. Like leaves sinking beneath the surface, the lake mirrored the muted sky. Calm, patient, and untroubled by the world, he realized that his mind, too, could mirror this gentle, steady presence. No need to chase clarity or force peace. It arises in soft awareness. A quiet warmth grew within him. Steady, patient, and unshakable, he whispered gently to you tonight. Let your mind settle like the mist over a quiet lake. End quote. And as the morning sun touched the water, he allowed himself to rest. The lake, the mist, and his breath became one serene sanctuary of calm. Story 42. The Bamboo Grove. Sunlight filtered through a bamboo grove, painting the ground with dappled patterns. A woman walked slowly among the tall stalks, letting her breath deepen naturally. Her mind had been busy, full of work, obligations, and lingering regret. Yet the grove invited her attention. Soft, patient, and unhurried, she remembered the Abhaya Sutta, teaching courage arises when fear is met gently. The bamboo swayed with the breeze, flexible, resilient, standing quietly in place. She inhaled the earthy scent of soil and leaves, exhaling tension into the air. Each step became meditation. Each breath, a soft rhythm of steady presence. Shadows danced lightly, and sunlight warmed her face. Neither forcing nor demanding, she realized her mind could bend without breaking, observing without clinging or pushing. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle awareness. A quiet, patient strength filled her heart, soft and enduring, like the grove. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Notice the sway of life, and let your mind move gently with it. And as the grove shimmered in the afternoon light, she allowed herself to rest. The bamboo, the shadows, and her breath became one calm presence. Story 43. The Twilight Meadow. Twilight draped a meadow in soft shades of lavender and gold. A man walked slowly through the tall grass, feeling it brush against his legs. His mind had been busy, replaying the day's concerns and unspoken regrets. Yet the meadow held quiet, teaching patience, presence, and ease. He recalled the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, teaching awareness as a path to freedom. He inhaled the scent of flowers and earth, letting tension leave with each exhale. His thoughts softened, drifting gently like the grasses around him in the evening breeze. Even pressing worries seemed lighter, moving naturally with the rhythm of the meadow. Birds sang softly in the distance, their song patient and unhurried. He realized his mind could rest like this, noticing without forcing or striving. Strength and calm arise not from effort, but from gentle presence and awareness. A quiet warmth settled in his chest, steady, soft, and reassuringly steady. He whispered softly to you tonight. Walk through your thoughts as you would a twilight meadow, gently and calmly. I am might. And as the sky deepened into night, he allowed himself to rest fully. The meadow, the twilight, and his breath became a serene sanctuary of peace. Story 44. The Candlelit Path. A narrow path wound through a quiet garden, lit by small, flickering candles. A woman walked slowly, her feet brushing fallen petals along the way. Her mind had been heavy, racing with tasks, worries, and yesterday's regrets. Yet the candlelight invited her to notice, soften, and simply be present. She remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching mindfulness in every small act. Each flicker became a gentle reminder to return attention to the present moment. She inhaled slowly, letting warmth fill her chest, and exhaled tension softly. Her thoughts drifted like shadows, neither clinging nor resisting, just passing by. The garden was still, alive, with soft light and gentle, quiet shadows. She realized even the restless mind could be soothed by careful attention. No need to chase clarity. Peace arises when presence is patient and steady. A gentle calm settled in her heart. Soft, simple, and unshakable. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk your mind along the candlelit path, noticing and resting fully. Daddy Nell, and as she moved through the garden, she allowed herself complete ease. The path, the candles, and her breath became one serene presence. Story 45. The evening orchard. The orchard was quiet, leaves rustling softly in a cool evening breeze. A man walked slowly among the trees, tired from long days and heavy thoughts. The scent of ripening fruit mingled with earth, gentle and grounding. His mind had been restless, but the orchard invited him to soften. He remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires pursuit. Not every worry must be carried tonight. He inhaled the cool, fragrant air, exhaling tension and stress with each breath. Each step became a meditation. Each moment a quiet lesson in patience. Birds settled in the branches, moving lightly and unhurried. Attentive only to now, he realized his mind could, too, rest in patient observation, letting go of strain. Even long-held concerns could soften, dissolve, or drift into gentle awareness. A quiet calm, steady and soft, settled into his chest and heart. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an orchard, noticing, softening, and resting. And as the sun disappeared behind the trees, he allowed himself complete calm. The orchard, the evening, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 46. The morning stream. A small stream gurgled softly over smooth stones, clear and cool in the early light. A woman knelt beside it, letting her fingers trace the flowing water. Her mind had been racing with tasks, regrets, and worry from yesterday. Yet the stream moved steadily, patiently, without effort, offering calm and presence. She remembered the Meghiya Sutta, teaching that gentle observation releases mental tension. Each ripple reflected sunlight and shadow, a reminder that life flows naturally. She inhaled the crisp air, letting warmth and clarity fill her chest. Exhaling, she released her busy thoughts, letting them drift downstream with ease. The water moved around stones, bending without breaking, persistent yet patient. She realized her own mind could be like this stream, flexible, steady, and free. Even persistent worries could soften with gentle noticing and quiet awareness. A subtle calm filled her heart, soft, steady, and unshakable in its presence. She whispered a thought to you tonight. Let your mind flow like a stream, patient, gentle, and untroubled. And as the sun reflected on the water, she allowed herself full rest. The stream, the light, and her breath became one serene sanctuary of peace. Story 47. The Lantern by the Pond. A single lantern glowed softly by the edge of a quiet pond. A man sat nearby, exhausted from work and long hours of worry. The light reflected in the still water, warm, gentle, and reassuring. His mind, full of tension, began to soften as he watched the glow. He recalled the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching awareness as a path to calm. Even small, steady light can guide the mind through restless thoughts. He inhaled slowly, letting warmth spread through his chest, exhaling tension softly. Each ripple of reflection became a rhythm to anchor his awareness in presence. Dragonflies skimmed the surface, moving lightly, without hurry or expectation. He realized that his mind, too, could rest lightly, noticing without grasping. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle observation and patience. A quiet, steady calm settled in him, soft, enduring, and comforting. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind rest by the lantern, soft, patient, and free. And as the evening deepened, he allowed himself complete ease and rest. The pond, the lantern, and his breath became one sanctuary of peace. Story 48. The Twilight Garden. Twilight cast long, gentle shadows across a quiet garden. A woman wandered slowly among the flowers, her feet brushing soft petals. Her mind had been tangled with stress, regret, and unfinished tasks. Yet the garden invited her to notice, breathe, and simply exist. She remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching presence in each small act. Even observing flowers and leaves can calm a restless, racing mind. She inhaled the sweet scent of blossoms, exhaling tension with each breath. Each step became meditation, each moment a soft rhythm of quiet awareness. The shadows lengthened, and the evening breeze whispered among branches. She realized her mind could soften like the garden, patient, gentle, and unhurried. Even lingering worries could settle naturally when met with observation and care. A calm warmth spread through her chest, steady, soft, and unshakable. She whispered softly to you tonight. Walk through your mind like a twilight garden, noticing and resting fully. Is asto, and as darkness deepened, she allowed herself complete rest and ease. The garden, the shadows, and her breath became one serene presence. Story 49. The Morning Orchard. Morning sunlight filtered through the branches of a quiet orchard. A man walked slowly, his feet brushing fallen leaves and soft grass. His mind had been heavy with responsibilities, worries, and lingering regrets. Yet the orchard offered calm, steady, and soft, a gentle rhythm of life. He remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires pursuit. Not every worry must be carried tonight. He inhaled the warm, earthy scent of the orchard, exhaling tension softly. Each step became meditation, each breath a gentle anchor for his mind. Birds sang softly from the branches, moving lightly, attentive only to now. He realized his mind could rest in patient observation, letting go of strain. Even old worries could soften, dissolve, or drift naturally into quiet awareness. A calm, steady warmth settled in his heart, soft, enduring, and unshakable. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an orchard, noticing, softening, and resting, in freed. And as the sun rose higher, he allowed himself full, calm, and ease. The orchard, the morning, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 50. The evening river. A river wound slowly through the valley, reflecting fading sunlight in gentle waves. A woman sat on the bank, tired from long hours and persistent worries. Her mind had been restless, chasing deadlines, obligations, and thoughts that never ended. Yet the river flowed steadily, patient and calming. Without expectation or strain, she recalled the Sutta Nikaya, teaching that mindful observation brings steadiness. Each ripple reflected the sky, clouds, and trees, soft and unhurried. She inhaled deeply, letting the cool air fill her chest, exhaling tension and fatigue. Even the heaviest thoughts began to drift, carried by the gentle current. The river moved effortlessly around stones, persistent yet patient, steady and soft. She realized her mind could do the same, noticing without clinging or pushing. Strength and peace arise not from effort, but from gentle presence and awareness. A quiet calm filled her heart, steady, soft, and enduring like the river. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind drift like a river, patient, gentle, and free. And as twilight fell over the valley, she allowed herself complete rest. The river, the evening, and her breath became one serene sanctuary of calm. Story 51. The snow-covered bridge. A thin layer of snow covered the small wooden bridge. Soft and quiet, a man stepped carefully, feeling the cold under his boots. Slow and steady, his mind had been restless, tangled with work, worries, and lingering regrets. Yet the snow muffled the world, offering calm, stillness, and gentle presence. He remembered the Vitakasantana Sutta, teaching the mind to return gently. Each careful step became a meditation, each breath a soft anchor of awareness. He inhaled the crisp winter air, exhaling tension and fatigue with ease. Even heavy worries seemed lighter, carried away by the silent rhythm of snow. The bridge, the river below, and the bare trees formed a quiet sanctuary. He realized that calm can grow in small, steady steps, without forcing. The mind, like the snow-covered bridge, could remain patient, soft, and steady. A subtle warmth of peace spread through him. Steady, gentle, and unshakable. He whispered a thought to you tonight. Let your mind step softly, like snow on a quiet bridge, at wars. And as he crossed, he allowed himself full ease and gentle rest. The bridge, the snow, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 52. The Lantern Festival River. Lanterns floated on the river, each glowing softly in the evening air. A woman watched quietly, feeling the gentle sway of the water below. Her thoughts had been racing, filled with deadlines, regrets, and obligations. Yet the lanterns offered a steady, warm light, inviting calm and presence. She remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching mindfulness in each small moment. Each lantern reflected on the water, carrying her worries softly downstream. She inhaled slowly, letting the warmth fill her chest. Exhaling tension gently, even persistent thoughts could drift. Observed without clinging or striving, the river flowed steadily, lanterns floating, patient and unhurried. Soft as silk, she realized her mind could rest like this, noticing without forcing control. Even the heaviest concerns could soften when met with gentle awareness. A quiet, steady calm settled in her heart, soft, warm, and enduring. She whispered to you tonight, let your thoughts drift like lanterns on a calm river. I have a, and as the final lantern disappeared into the night, she allowed herself to rest. The lanterns, the river, and her breath became one sanctuary of peace. Story 53. The Evening Meadow. A meadow glowed softly in the fading light, grasses bending gently in the breeze. A man walked slowly, feeling the earth beneath his feet, grounding and steady. His mind had been busy, tangled with work, family, and lingering worries. Yet the meadow offered quiet, soft, and patient, a rhythm to rest into. He recalled the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, teaching presence as a path to calm. Each blade of grass, each rustle of wind, became a gentle anchor for awareness. He inhaled the sweet scent of earth, exhaling tension and mental clutter. Even heavy thoughts began to soften, moving gently with the meadow's rhythm. Birds settled into the twilight, moving softly, attentive only to the present. He realized his mind could rest like this, noticing without pushing or forcing. Strength arises not from effort, but from gentle awareness and patient attention. A calm warmth filled his chest, steady, soft, and reassuringly present. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an evening meadow, softly and fully. If no, and as the last light faded, he allowed himself complete ease and rest. The meadow, the evening, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 54. The Bamboo Stream. A narrow stream wound through a bamboo grove, clear and cool in the shade. A woman knelt beside it, letting her fingers trail in the flowing water. Her mind had been restless, chasing tasks, worries, and yesterday's unfinished thoughts. Yet the stream moved steadily, bending around stones, patient and soft. She remembered the Meghiya Sutta, teaching gentle awareness releases mental burden. Each ripple reflected the leaves above, inviting her mind to soften and rest. She inhaled slowly, letting the cool water and shade settle her chest. Exhaling, tension dissolved, carried gently downstream by the steady, flowing stream. The bamboo swayed in a breeze, flexible, resilient, standing quietly and undemanding. She realized her mind could move in the same way, flexible yet steady. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle attention and patience. A quiet calm filled her heart, steady, soft, and deeply reassuring. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind flow like the bamboo stream, soft, patient, and free. And as the sun filtered through the grove, she allowed herself full rest. The stream, the bamboo, and her breath became one sanctuary of calm. Story 55. The Evening Bell. The bell tolled slowly across the monastery courtyard, deep and resonant in the night. A man sat beneath an oak tree, tired from endless work and lingering thoughts. The sound lingered in the cool air, steady, patient, and gentle. His mind, once restless, began to slow with each reverberation. He remembered the Abhaya Sutta, teaching courage arises through gentle awareness. Even fear and doubt can soften when noticed without clinging or resistance. He inhaled slowly, letting the resonance fill his chest, exhaling tension softly. Each toll became a meditation, each moment a reminder of steady presence. The courtyard was quiet, the oak swaying lightly, embraced by the night's calm. He realized that steadiness does not come from pushing or controlling the mind. Strength and peace arise naturally when awareness is gentle and patient. A quiet warmth settled in his heart, steady, soft, and enduring. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let the bell remind you, your mind can rest, steady and free. And as the final toll faded into the night, he allowed himself full ease. The bell, the oak, and his breath became one serene sanctuary of peace. Story 56. The morning fog. A thin fog clung to the meadow, soft and still in the early light. A woman walked slowly, her feet pressing into damp grass, careful and quiet. Her mind had been restless, full of tasks, worries, and lingering thoughts. Yet the fog invited her to slow, breathe, and simply notice the moment. She remembered the Dhammapada, teaching that mindfulness brings peace to a racing mind. Each step, each breath, became a gentle meditation, a soft anchor for presence. She inhaled the cool, damp air, exhaling tension and fatigue with ease. Even persistent worries seemed to dissolve. Carried gently into the mist, the meadow lay silent, the fog wrapping the world in quiet patience. She realized her mind could rest like this, patient, soft, and undemanding. No need to chase clarity or push for calm. It arises naturally in presence. A subtle warmth of peace filled her heart, steady, soft, and unshakable. She whispered a thought to you tonight. Let your mind drift gently, like fog across a quiet meadow. And as the sun began to rise, she allowed herself full ease and rest. The meadow, the fog, and her breath became one serene sanctuary of calm. Story 57. The river lanterns. Lanterns floated on the river, glowing softly in the evening air. A man sat by the bank, weary from work and endless thoughts. The light reflected in the water, steady, warm, and comforting. His mind, busy and restless, began to soften as he watched the glow. He recalled the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching gentle awareness in each small moment. Each lantern drifting on the water invited him to notice without grasping. He inhaled slowly, letting warmth spread through his chest, exhaling tension softly. Even heavy thoughts could drift. Observed without resistance or effort, the river carried the lanterns steadily, patient, calm, and unhurried. He realized his mind could do the same. Observe, release, and rest softly. Even persistent worries could soften with gentle noticing and awareness. A quiet, steady calm settled in his heart, soft, enduring, and reassuring. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind float like lanterns on a calm river. And as the night deepened, he allowed himself full ease and rest. The river, the lanterns, and his breath became one sanctuary of peace. Story 58. The Twilight Orchard. Twilight draped the orchard in soft shades of purple and gold. A woman walked slowly between the rows of trees, feeling leaves brush her hands. Her mind had been heavy, tangled with work pressures and quiet regrets. Yet the orchard's calm invited her to notice, breathe, and simply be present. She remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires action. Not every worry must be carried tonight. She inhaled the fragrant evening air, exhaling tension softly into the orchard. Each step became meditation, each breath a rhythm of patient awareness. Birds settled quietly in the branches, moving lightly and attentive only to now. She realized her mind could rest in observation, letting go of effort or strain. Even long-held worries could soften and drift naturally into quiet awareness. A calm, steady warmth filled her chest, soft, enduring, and unshakable. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an orchard at twilight, softly and fully. And as the sun disappeared, she allowed herself complete ease and peace. The orchard, the evening, and her breath became one serene presence. Story 59. The Bamboo Stream. A narrow stream wound through the bamboo grove, cool and clear in the shade. A man knelt beside it, letting his fingers trail through the flowing water. His mind had been busy, chasing work tasks and lingering regrets from the day. Yet, the stream moved steadily, bending around stones. Soft, patient, and calm. He recalled the Meghiya Sutta, teaching that gentle observation releases tension. Each ripple reflected the leaves above, inviting his mind to soften and rest. He inhaled slowly, letting the cool shade and water settle his chest. Exhaling, tension dissolved, carried gently downstream by the steady flow. The bamboo swayed in a gentle breeze, flexible and quietly resilient. He realized his mind could move in the same way, steady and soft. Even persistent worries could soften when met with patient, gentle awareness. A quiet calm filled his heart, steady, soft, and deeply reassuring. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind flow like the bamboo stream, soft and free. I was resting, and as the sun filtered through the grove, he allowed himself full rest. The stream, the bamboo, and his breath became one sanctuary of calm. Story 60. The Evening Bell. A deep bell tolled slowly across the monastery courtyard, echoing through the night. A woman sat beneath a tall oak, exhausted from endless work and thought. The sound lingered in the cool air, steady, patient, and soft. Her mind, once restless, began to slow with each reverberation. She remembered the Abhaya Sutta, teaching courage arises through gentle awareness. Even fear and doubt can soften when noticed without grasping or resistance. She inhaled slowly, letting the resonance fill her chest, exhaling tension gently. Each toll became meditation, each moment a reminder of steady presence. The courtyard was still, the oak swaying lightly, embraced by quiet night calm. She realized steadiness does not come from pushing or controlling the mind. Strength and peace arise naturally when awareness is gentle and patient. A quiet warmth settled in her heart, soft, steady, and enduring. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let the bell remind you, your mind can rest, steady and free. In minor, and as the final toll faded, she allowed herself complete ease and rest. The bell, the oak, and her breath became one serene sanctuary of peace. Story 61. The morning dew. Morning dew clung to the grass. Sparkling softly in the early sunlight, a man knelt, letting the cool drops brush his fingertips gently. His mind had been restless, filled with unfinished tasks and quiet worry. Yet the dew invited him to notice, breathe, and simply be present. He remembered the Dhammapada, teaching that mindfulness steadies the wandering mind. Each droplet reflected the world, small, precise, and patient. Without effort, he inhaled slowly, letting cool freshness fill his chest. Exhaling tension softly, even persistent thoughts seemed lighter, carried gently into the soft morning air. The meadow lay silent, dew glistening, the world calm and patient. He realized that his mind could rest like this, soft, gentle, and steady. No need to force peace. It arises naturally when observed with gentle attention. A quiet warmth settled in his heart, steady, soft, and unshakable. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind sparkle softly, like dew in morning light. Oh, and as the sun rose, he allowed himself full ease and quiet rest. The meadow, the dew, and his breath became one serene sanctuary of calm. Story 62. The river reflection. A calm river mirrored the sky, smooth and still in the late afternoon. A woman sat on the bank, exhausted from a day of work and worry. Her thoughts had been busy, replaying mistakes, obligations, and unspoken regrets. Yet the river reflected steady, calm, soft, patient, and quietly present. She remembered the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching that gentle awareness brings freedom. Watching the water, she allowed her mind to settle, noticing without clinging. She inhaled slowly, letting the evening air fill her chest, exhaling stress gently. Even the heaviest thoughts began to soften, drifting naturally with the current. The river flowed effortlessly, persistent yet patient, carrying reflections with grace. She realized her mind could rest like this, steady, flexible, and undemanding. Even persistent worries could soften when met with gentle observation. A quiet, steady warmth filled her heart, soft, enduring, and reassuring. She whispered softly to you tonight, let your mind rest, like reflections on a calm river. In the first, and as twilight fell, she allowed herself full ease and gentle peace. The river, the light, and her breath became one serene sanctuary. Story 63. The Lantern Grove. Lanterns hung among trees, glowing softly in the evening breeze. A man walked slowly beneath them, each step soft and deliberate. His mind had been heavy, racing with work pressures and lingering worry. Yet the lanterns invited him to notice, pause, and simply breathe. He recalled the Satipatthana Sutta, teaching mindfulness in each simple act. Each lantern became a gentle anchor, a soft reminder to return to presence. He inhaled deeply, letting the warmth of light fill his chest. Exhaling tension, even restless thoughts softened, drifting like shadows across the path. The grove was still, alive with soft light and quiet. Patient shadows, he realized, Even a busy mind can be soothed through careful attention. No need to force calm. Peace arises naturally when presence is steady. A gentle, patient warmth settled in his heart. Soft, enduring, and unshakable. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind under the lanterns. Soft, patient, and free. Iv aeternis, in mania. And as the evening deepened, he allowed himself complete rest and ease. The lanterns, the grove, and his breath became one serene presence. Story 64. The Twilight Stream. A quiet stream reflected the colors of the fading sky. Soft and still, a woman knelt by its bank, letting her fingers trace the cool, flowing water. Her mind had been restless, chasing tasks, regrets, and small daily worries. Yet the stream moved steadily, patient, soft, and unhurried, inviting calm. She remembered the Megha Sutta, teaching that gentle awareness releases mental burden. Each ripple reflected the sky, trees, and evening light. Soft and patient, she inhaled slowly, letting coolness and calm fill her chest. Exhaling tension, even pressing thoughts began to drift. Observed without grasping or effort, the stream wound around stones, bending yet steady, persistent and patient. She realized her mind could move in the same gentle, resilient way. Even persistent worries could soften when met with mindful, patient attention. A quiet warmth filled her heart, steady, soft, and deeply reassuring. She whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Let your mind drift like a twilight stream, gentle and free. And as the sky darkened, she allowed herself complete calm and rest. The stream, the twilight, and her breath became one serene sanctuary. Story 65. The Evening Orchard. The orchard glowed softly in the cool evening air. Calm and still, a man walked slowly, his feet brushing soft grass and fallen leaves. His mind had been heavy with work pressures, lingering regrets, and worry. Yet the orchard offered patient, steady presence, inviting him to notice and breathe. He remembered the Kalama Sutta, teaching discernment and gentle letting go. Not every thought requires pursuit. Not every worry must be carried tonight. He inhaled the scent of ripe fruit and earth, exhaling tension softly. Each step became meditation, each breath a gentle rhythm of presence. Birds settled quietly in the trees, moving softly, attentive only to the present. He realized his mind could rest in patient observation, letting go of effort. Even old worries could soften and drift naturally into gentle awareness. A calm, steady warmth filled his heart, soft, enduring, and unshakable. He whispered a gentle thought to you tonight. Walk through your mind like an evening orchard, softly and fully, is ever. And as the sun disappeared behind the trees, he allowed himself complete rest. The orchard, the evening, and his breath became one serene presence. The night is quiet now, soft and steady, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. Your breath moves slowly, naturally, carrying ease and calm into every corner of your body. All the thoughts that chased you through the day can settle, floating gently away. The mind, like a river, drifts effortlessly, patient, gentle, and free of strain. Your shoulders soften, Your chest opens, and a quiet warmth spreads through you. Each exhale carries a little more tension. Each inhale invites presence and ease. The world outside is still. The trees, the stars, and the soft night wind resting too. Even the smallest details of the day can dissolve, leaving only this calm moment. You are safe. You are seen. And your mind is allowed to rest completely. Let your body sink into your bed, supported, warm, and steady. There is nothing to fix, nothing to chase, nothing you must do. Each heartbeat, each breath becomes a lullaby, guiding you deeper into rest. And now, as your eyelids grow heavy, let your awareness soften like evening light. The mind, the body, and the breath merge into a gentle, quiet rhythm. All tension flows away, leaving only calm, warm, and serene presence. If you'd like, feel free to notice the space around you, the quiet air, the gentle stillness, the soft comfort of this moment. And as you drift further, sleep comes softly, naturally, carrying peace with it. Tonight, you rest. Tonight, your mind and body are safe. And in this gentle, steady quiet, you can drift into deep, warm, effortless sleep.